Welcome back to the Start Your Fashion Business channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering your burning questions, which is why I have my phone here with all of your questions about starting and launching your fashion brands. But first, before we get started, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you are new here, because I share weekly fashion business tips. And don't forget to binge all my previous content too, because there is a lot of gems there that will help you on your brand building journey. So if you are a future brand owner or an existing brand owner, you are in the right place. I'm a brand owner too. In fact, I started my journey with my own fashion brand, and then I opened up my own ethical garment manufacturing company, and that led me to creating Start Your Fashion Business, aka SYFB, which is also the name of this channel. And it is my online fashion business academy, helping other fashion entrepreneurs thrive in their brand building journey. So again, you are in the right place if you want to grow your fashion brand. So give this video a thumbs up and let's get started. Okay, so I did ask everyone, what type of brands do they have, or what are you planning to start? I like to ask this question just so that I know, because it is very important for you to know what it is that you're starting. It's not just, oh, I want to start a fashion brand. You really have to niche down, especially in today's market. So somebody actually said they want to start their own clothing line and fashion business. So if this is you, that's mistake number one. And if you don't have any ideas, don't worry. You can actually sign up to my new masterclass called the Profitable Fashion Brand Masterclass. And if you sign up to that masterclass, you will be able to claim this bonus. I created the top 50 most lucrative niches for you to start in 2024. So if you still have no clue, I highly recommend for you to sign up to that free masterclass to get that bonus. But someone actually did say they're starting an eco-friendly apparel, bedding, and decor brand. And so that's great. I like that. Somebody else is actually rebranding from bespoke fashion to niching down to a scarf brand. That's also great too. Like I said, you really, really want to niche down. So let's actually jump to the main question. And this question was posted inside of the Fashion Biz Club, which is the broadcast channel on my Instagram. So if you're not in there yet, make sure to join. I'm going to leave all the links in the description box below too. But basically, I asked, what questions do you have about starting and launching? So question number one is, how many designs should be in one collection? So of course, you want to picture it in your customer's shoes. This is the easiest way to answer this question, because every brand is going to be unique, right? And back when I started my fashion brand, I definitely at that time needed to have a bigger collection, especially because I was wholesaling. And when you're working with wholesale agents, they want to have a proper line when they're showing off to the buyers in the appointments. However, if you are selling direct to consumer and you're only selling on your website, you really want to just focus on how this is going to look on your website. So that's why it's important for you to put yourself in your customer's shoes and be in that customer journey. Envision how when they land on your website, what are they going to see on the website? And that's why I would say if you only have one product, it's not going to really make an impact, right? Like imagine your customer landing on your website and they just see one product. Then you're basically putting all of your eggs in one basket. So perhaps for some of you, it could be launching with 5 products. For some of you, it could be launching with 8. But what I'm trying to get to here is that what is important is to make sure that your product is, of course, high quality. It's something that your customers do want. And if you really have the budget for it, have multiple styles. And with that, I don't mean have like one design and drop it in multiple colors. That's actually not a good strategy, because again, think about it. The likely chance of somebody purchasing multiple colors is less than actually purchasing a piece that they can style it with. So I actually tell my students, if you can look at your collection and think, all right, if I'm releasing a sweater, what's going to actually go with that sweater? And, release a style that, you can upsell basically, because they will want to, have the look and complete the look, right? So again, For you, it could be 4 items. For some of you, it can be 6 different items or designs. But I definitely wouldn't just launch with one, because you're not going to make a big impact. And if that customer is actually not really into that particular design, then they have nothing else to choose from. Now, of course, if budgeting is like a bit of a constraint, then what you could do is think about like non-apparel items, so like accessories that you can offer to make your brand, like basically to represent the lifestyle of your brand. So what I mean by that is, if you're a swimwear brand, maybe you can also sell a bucket hat or a sarong, or maybe a cute beach bag. And typically with accessories, the product development, it might not cost you as much as with apparel. So you just want to offer something else to make it look like a collection. So again, it doesn't have to be apparel, but you should have a few pieces on your website. Now, if you're going to be wholesaling like I did, then you certainly have to have a solid collection. Like, for example, I was designing, like in one collection, there would be 20 designs in 2 to 3 colorways. So one entire collection would be 50 pieces, which was insane. I thought that was insane. So now I've definitely like trimmed down and, you know, gone with a different route. But even now, when I design a collection and I'm about to drop one, actually, it's around 8 to 10 designs. That's what I do. But that's because that works for me. So for you, if you're a new brand, you don't have to follow what I do. But again, you want to make sure that you have enough to offer to your customer. Okay, question number 2. How do I transform my sketches into garments? Well, the way that I do it, honestly, is I just scan it. If I make a sketch and I do it on top of like a croquis or like a mannequin, and it's a flat sketch, and I'm using like, you know, a fine line black pen, then I would just scan it and then basically move it to Adobe Illustrator to finish it up there. But there's probably so many other ways that you can do this. I actually don't come from a fashion design background. What I teach is the fashion business side of things, business plan, branding strategy, all of those things. That is what I do, because I don't believe that you need to be like a fashion designer to be able to make it in fashion. And certainly nowadays, you can also outsource these services too, because eventually you're not going to be busy designing your collection. I've been doing this now for over a decade. I've had my brand since 2010. And designing is literally one of the smallest portions that I do in my day to day. Okay, question number 3. What is the best resource for getting funds to start? Well, the best resources, I guess you could say, let's go with the easiest, because best is going to be relative. It's going to be relative to your brand's goal. So, you know, the easiest way to get funding is, of course, through angel investors, which are people that you may know personally, could be friends, family, or doing a crowdfunding. There are, of course, various websites where you can set up a campaign like Kickstarter, for example. And, you know, people that don't know you can basically fund the creation of your brand. So those are the 2 easiest routes, because when you're basically dealing with angel investors, they might they could be more relaxed, as in you might not need to show like a financial plan that is like, you know, to the T, like down to the T accurate. Of course, like with crowdfunding or a Kickstarter campaign too, like there's some easy parts to it, but there's also a lot of work that goes behind creating a campaign, especially because now you have to create the content, really make sure that people are going to be compelled to invest in your brand. But if you are going to go, let's say, the route of getting like investors, raising like a lot of money, this is where things can get tricky, because if they don't feel like you have any experience in fashion, they might not want to invest in your brand because it could be a risk for them. So how can you present that this is actually a low risk for them, and that can actually bring the highest return? So that's why you will need to really know a couple of things. You will need to understand what brand you want to create and what market you are actually catering to and what the opportunities are in there. You'll need to understand basically the entire kind of plan operation of your brand and how much you will need for that. So you will need to have like a good understanding of business too. And you need to also have a marketing plan, because they're going to want to know, how are you going to sell this brand? And again, they'll want to see that you have experience in this. So if you are a new brand, I would really recommend backing that up with actually, showing to them that you've either learned this, or you had a mentor, or maybe you've experienced it through like work and internships, whatever it is. But people, especially investors like that, they're not going to make it easy for you, and they're going to be asking the hard questions too. So I've had pitch competitions as well. I pitched to Facebook, also to Sarah Blakely Spanx. That went really well, that they wanted me to go back to like the Facebook HQ. So I've had a lot of experience with doing this, and at the end of the day, it's really about like selling your story and your mission, and having a charisma as the founder, because ultimately they're going to invest in you. So you're going to need to be the person that likes to speak to people, likes to present, is outgoing and charismatic. So there's a lot that you need to work with here. And again, I don't know, where you're at, who you are. So this is a lot to unpack here, but I do want to say that inside the brand incubator program, which is my signature program, I've had students that secured funding, and that's because they knew what they were doing, and that gave them that leverage, and also the level of trust between the potential investors and them. One of my students actually won a pitch competition too, and she was basically in college at the time, and her college had a pitch competition, and she won it and got $25,000 for her fashion brand. Now her fashion brand is called Hey Meili, but at the time it was called Swim by M. And she actually used the knowledge inside the program to write her business plan, and that gave her like an edge, and it made the judges really trust in her that she was capable in doing this. And so she won that, I think it was 3 to 4 years ago, almost. And now her brand is doing very, very well. So again, it's important that you have the education and the knowledge to back it up. So if this is a route that you want to pursue, I really do recommend that you join the brand incubator program, because it will actually teach you how to have a business. So when you're wanting to raise money and investors are asking you all these questions, you'll know how to answer them. Inside, I also teach how you create a business plan, how to create a pitch deck if you are going to be pitching to investors. So it's so much knowledge in there, and you also have access to me, and I'm happy to help you on that. And besides that, I've also had students who did crowdfunding campaigns actually as well. So there's so many options. So it really just depends on your business goals. Okay, now let's go to the last question. What are your thoughts on launching with just a signature piece? So I guess this relates back to the first question. Your signature piece or your hero piece is very important, because ideally when you have a brand, you want to have like a hero piece or hero pieces that you can always like re-release in different colorways and prints. And it's basically like the go-to piece that your brand is known for. However, you don't get to this point until you've done a few seasons. And I'll explain why, based on my own experience actually. So I've launched my brand in 2010. And at the time when I launched my brand, like I didn't have my hero piece. I was like testing different things out. And it was only in 2013 that I ended up identifying what the hero piece was. Now, of course, there are brands that can, it can happen sooner than that. But at the time, of course, I didn't really know what I was doing. So it took me longer. But if you know what you're doing, you can absolutely design your hero piece, because there's ways to research the market, know your customers, to kind of like predict what they want. But most likely, you're not going to have that signature piece in your first collection. And maybe you're like, well, this looks like it's going to be my signature piece, but oftentimes your customers can surprise you. I've definitely designed pieces where I was like, oh, that's going to be the best seller. and the other piece that I didn't think was going to be the bestseller ended up being the winning one. And so what I'm trying to say here is, yes, you can launch with just a signature piece once you have identified what that signature piece is. For example, with my brand now, I re-release the signature pieces every season in different colors. And it's almost like a money printer because hey, people love this particular piece and they are looking for newer colors. So it's almost like a given sale. But you might not get to that point, like I said, until your second collection or your third collection, or like me, almost my third year. But once you've identified that, then you can absolutely launch with that piece only and just do it in different colors. So my tip for you is, for now, you want to be able to test the market and you want to be able to be fast and pivot. And so that is also why it's important to find a low MOQ manufacturer. And that is actually something that I also go inside the brand incubator program, by the way. So you'll be able to find a low MOQ manufacturer so that you can actually test different things out and not get stuck with huge inventory. And you also get access to a vetted list of suppliers and manufacturers too, including a no MOQ one. Yep, a no MOQ one. That no MOQ manufacturer is based in Bali, and we are going to be seeing him at our next fashion business retreat in October. So if you are building your brand right now, or you're looking for a new manufacturer and you also want to recharge your batteries in Bali, I do recommend for you to join our next October retreat. So anyways, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent here. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. Don't forget to go inside the broadcast channel if you have any follow-up questions. I'm going to be there, and I will see you in the next video.